This plant is Trachelospermum jasminoides, star jasmine. And this is a typical way that this plant gets used. You see that it's about 18 inches tall, and it's being used as a strip planting in here. And actually this is the end of August and there's still a few flowers on there. And this is a good example. You see how this is vining? You see these guys poking up. There's some back there that are kind of poking up. And here, see how this is twirling around itself and whatever it can grab onto. Now I've got this as an espalier, or a wall covering in my courtyard, which I'll show. So that vining kind of habit is something to consider. If you're going to use it like you see here, it's going to have to be pruned on a regular basis. I say twice a year this needs to be trimmed to give it the appearance that you see here. And that said, it's good for a large-scale ground cover the way it's used on this corner. And if you're going to use it this way, I would recommend that you space it about 18 to 24 inches on center. And if you do that, you're probably going to get total infill within 1.5 to 2 years. But it's important that in that first 2 years, as it's being established, that somebody is coming in and knocking down these runners that are poking up. That way the energy that they're using up gets pushed off and you get more lateral spreading of the plant. Once these are established, they're quite drought resistant. They don't need a lot of water. I had these at another home and it literally got no water. I didn't water it. It was there when I bought the property and it had been established for some time and it had no irrigation going to it and it looked great all the time. This also, we're in a hot inland valley, and even without water during the summer, that plant was good. It can be used in sun or part shade. It's going to look its best and it's going to bloom its best if you're in full sun. Also, it's important not to trim this in the spring. If you do that, you're likely to cut off all the wood that would be blooming. And one of the big reasons people love this plant is the really nice fragrance you get. And in our area in Northern California where it's warm, this does its big bloom in June, I would say. I like using it if I'm trying to do fragrance in a garden. I like to use this in combination with pink jasmine. That blooms in April, May, and then as it's finishing, the star jasmine will kick in and start doing more of a June, July bloom. So I really like this for this type of application, and I guess the only thing I don't like about it is you do have to maintain it. Also, when you cut these are full of a white milky sap, which is a bit of a mess. So it's not a big deal, but it is something to be aware of. And in terms of deer resistance, I've seen this in deer areas. I've seen them eat it also, so I think it's a maybe. You can try it out. I think the thing to do is to protect it when it's young, and then I don't think they like that white milky sap when they start trying to eat it, so eventually it seems to grab hold and they leave it alone. And that is star jasmine, Trachelospermum jasminoides. And here's the star jasmine used on a wall. So it's got some kind of wire supporting this. This is about a 15-20-year-old planting, so it's been going there for a long time. Looks good all the time, and boy is it fragrant in this courtyard when these things are blooming. Still got a few little blossoms hanging around here at the end of August, but July is the big show. So that's star jasmine, and look how nice and dark green those older leaves are. Now you'll also notice the lack of leaves being hacked up here. I do selective pruning and there's videos on that, but that's a much nicer look. You see how natural and soft these edges look on this plant? Pretty different feel for than when they start using hedge trimmers on everything. So when you can, do selective pruning and you're going to get a much nicer looking plant.